also have a very memorable celebration of those transgender pioneers that have been fighting this epidemic for so long with very little. So it's a very symbolic celebration. It's sort of like passing on the work, and that is where we're going to start. And then we will move on to the ball, which many of you are also excited about. That's why I got my pumps, because I do intend to walk. Hopefully I won't trip. So is everybody, do we have any people from their door? Okay, I think someone in there wants to come here, so let me fix that. Okay. You should.
Hello, everyone. Hello. My name is Consuelo Lopez Allure. The way that I became Allure was I was one of the original Allure members back in the early 90s, 1989 through 1990, whatever. And I sort of left the ball scene to go and become something else, right? But now I've come back, and it's a way that I can give back to my community, especially with transgender women of color, that we all know how easily we have been pushed to the side. So this trans ball is more about saying that, look at us, look at what we can do if we all come together and pull together. And I'm just so happy to have so many people here, especially a lot of my friends from years ago. You know, people that I grew up with. Dinky, I met her from since I was 13. You know, my mother's here, my friends, my best friends, political officials from the mayor's office. So this is amazing, you know, to have all these people here come support this trans ball. So I just want to say thank you, everyone, for coming. And we're going to get on to the next part of this ceremony so we can get forward with the ball. So thank you, everybody, for coming, and let's get the show started, right? Oh, and on the count of three, I want everyone to say trans respect. 1, 2, 3. Trans respect. Thank you. Maddie. Ruby? Ruby. Picture. Let me just say another thing about Ruby. Ruby's an amazing person. Let me just say this. For the people that don't know her, she is an amazing woman, and she brings out the best in anybody. She doesn't give up on you. She loves you unconditionally, and she has really shown me what it takes to uplift a transgender woman of color. So, Ruby, I love you. Here you go.
And all of you, I know that I love all of you, right? It's been a long journey, and that is why we are so excited to share that crossing of the mature generation who has fought so hard to survive, to live day by day in a city that hasn't always been, you know, the best, but it is an amazing city. And I don't want to get emotional because there's a lot of my young sisters here that you will get a lot of flashbacks when you see these new young girls thriving. And I thank all of you for so much that you have done in this city to make them believe that their lives are worth it. I thank you. Thank you to our family. Thank you to our friends. because we are very unique. Washington, D.C. is one of the best cities in the world. Yes! But it can also be very challenging if you don't fit in the political or politically correct agenda. And that is why Casa Ruby was created, and it was born because there were many of us who didn't fit in the politically correct agenda. We didn't fit in that system that is set up to make some people thrive and make them be the best that they can be. We were not there, we were never a priority. At all levels, social, economical, cultural. But this is also an amazing city where they called us the marginalized, the underserved, the poor, the homeless, the ugly, where we also can rise. And this is who we are. We are rising, we are thriving, because we also are part of the District of Columbia. So, to get started, I want to introduce someone who I met a few years ago. Actually, it's been going on 4 years. And like everyone who comes to Casa Ruby, I could tell that there was so much there to give. And like many of us, she didn't have a lot of hope. But she came in, and after I met her at a conference for homeless youth, she met me and she said, I want to come to Casa Ruby. And at that time, we were getting started, and I said, girlie, I can only do $50 stipend per week for you to volunteer. And very shortly, she began showing up on time, doing the great things that she does, and she began learning the culture of Casa Ruby. Because we're not just an agency, we are a family. And she said, I want to be part of this family. And in the last 2 years, she's done a lot. And she is today our Director of Youth Services. She's still young. She's still very young. She's only 22. And I know she's 22 because sometimes she tells me, girl, back in the day. And I'm like, what do you mean back in the day? I say, were you 2 years old running the streets? Back in the day, at 4 years old, I'm like, girl, you're only 22. So I want to introduce someone who is very dear to my heart, just like all of you as well. Mally Hatcher. Mally Hatcher.
So, about 2 months ago, Casa Ruby started a new endeavor, and it was the Trans HIV Fellowship Program. This program, which at the beginning we did not have funding for, but we continue to do, which was later picked up by the Department of Health, HASA, and is now named the Mariposa Project. Thank you to the DOH and the PC government for funding us for that project. And we have had many successful individuals from that program that today are now going to graduate from phase 1 and will continue on to phase 2. And we just wanted to acknowledge them in front of a body of some of your their peers, some of your uncles and aunties and mothers and fathers or cousins. So to them and for them, and some of you all are the family that they really don't have. And we wanted to acknowledge them and show them that we appreciate the hard work that they put in, and it is for a meaning that they're doing this. So, the first person.
We just want to make the introduction, but before we make that introduction, we have to let you know the current state around HIV in the nation's capital. Because you have to understand this is not just any program. Last year, the DC Trans Coalition and a lot of groups did a HIV study. It was actually a needs assessment. And that needs assessment showed that the most vulnerable people in this city are young transgender women of color. There are alarming rates of HIV. The study showed 74%. That means a lot of young people contracting HIV. The study shows also poverty and violence. So as a response to that reality, there are many young people coming out these days. And we want them to come into a world where they have support, where they have access to tools to live healthy lives. And no one can do a much better job than young people teaching young people how to take care of themselves, right? In Casa Ruby, we believe about changing the formula, and this is how you change. You empower those that are highly affected, and this is what we want you to understand, that this is powerful to us.
So, the first youth that we want to call here is Miss Misha Hines. Misha Hines. She's a daughter. Okay. All right. Miss Nikki Williams. Rashida Frazier, Desiree Copeland, Kiana Johnson, Lovely Hicks, Lacey